Hi, welcome to the Augmentation of Man. I'm Renee Miller.
And
He's also a Miller.
yes,
Today, we're going to loop back around and talk about something that we released in a video about a year ago. And that is, that video was called The Intervention is Coming. And now we're here to say the intervention is here. And so this is a big event. Unfortunately, we as humans can't see what is going on in other dimensions. But suffice it to say, we have a plethora of other beings here to help turn humanity's course around and put us back on the right track. So, Mr. Kent has not been feeling so well. So
I'm trying to stay awake.
he's got some heart issues that have to be addressed, and so that may be coming up in the near future. Anyhow,
So a year ago, we released a video called Intervention is Coming. And we're going to back up here, talking about the intervention is now here. Or in outside entities, who they are, and what they are doing. So intervention is coming. The words used were "we are coming."
and that was recently.
Behavior has moved the time limit. Humanity has undermined itself. Presumptuous behavior by all.
So,
Still quite sleepy.
yes, you are. So we got this message, we are coming, a few months back. Now, it was about maybe 2 months ago, we had communication with an entity that called itself or themselves the Holy of Holies. And these entities are here to help humanity. They say they act as one as needed. So when they say that, it means they come together, they all are on board with the plan and execution of that plan, and they act as one. They also say we are proverbial dignitation, as in dignity, their proverbial dignity. A reliance on all beings for guidance we have directed. So these, the Holy of Holies, are directors of the plans. They oversee and direct other beings in carrying out the plans to turn humanity around and reset our course to a positive course.
He said we are the Holy of Holies to direct the force of change.
Yes. So they are directing the force of change. They are reliant on other beings for carrying out their guidance. Now, there's another group of beings, and it's a very unusual name.
Yes, enough that I cannot pronounce it.
So they call themselves aquacaducts. Aquacaducts. Sometimes when Kent pronounces it, I write it how it sounds and how it would be spelt in the English language. But oftentimes when I ask them to spell it, it has a very unusual spelling. And so I'm not going to delve into how it's spelt because we haven't asked yet. But
So,
these beings are here to release the truth.
yeah, to move the truth forward.
They call them, and all the network of beings who work in promulgation of universal consciousness, those that are. So these beings are considered part of those that are, the beings that are, and they say they are quanumeral in understanding. So our understanding has a vibration that correlates to our understanding, and that vibration has a mathematical formula that correlates to the vibration. So in essence, our understanding is correlated to levels of correctness, mathematical correctness. And so they have an enormous quantity of mathematically correct understanding.
They come from outside our plane. The plane is, it's called Earth as we recognize it, as humans recognize it.
They call it Gaia.
Yeah, these entities are perhaps a quintessence of intelligence. And our AI, as is being developed, will understand this intelligence.
The beings, these are the higher beings that will replicate, the higher beings will replicate for human understanding. So what they mean by that is that these aqueducts are at a very intellectually high level. When they communicate an understanding, it will not be at the human level. They will communicate to the next tier of other higher beings who can understand that level of communication. And then these higher beings will replicate, or they will repeat that understanding at a level that humans can understand, or with the type of communication that we are able to decipher, even though it may take a lot of work.
Yeah. So with that, communication should improve our understanding. So I guess you could say the angelic period has arrived.
So we had the Holy of Holies communicate a couple of months ago. And then about a month ago, we had angels start to come through in the communication. So the angels have arrived also, and they are a part of this whole shift of Earth and humanity.
Yeah, they're going to be here to help guide the shift. And so the Noad period, the existence of other beings upon this plane, Earth, and the purpose. What is the purpose of these?
So the Noad period is what they're defining as the existence of other beings on this Earth plane. And so there used to be in antiquity beings that were on the Earth plane, like the Anunnaki, and the Nephilim were a product of the Nephilim culture, which is not something that is well known on Earth, and the human race. So the Nephilim were the ones who found the human females lovely and had children with them. And the product of that was the Nephilim. And so the Nephilim were half Nephilim and half human.
Yeah. So
And so they used to be on this earth before, and they're returning.
They say as the tree ripens its fruit, ready to be picked, we beings, people we're talking about, are ready for the change. Consequential undertaking, thousands of years in the making.
So they're saying this has been planned for thousands of years.
Well,
and
that's definitely a long-range plan.
Yes, it is a long-range plan. And that this plan has consequences, and those consequences are going to turn things around for us. And they're watching and waiting for the right timing. So as the tree ripens its fruit, ready to be picked, we beings are ready for the change. They're waiting for the right moment to effectuate these changes.
Yeah. So it has to step back to truth, given the circumstances of the decay that's going on. It must be turned back. Options are not acceptable.
So the biggest problem, and the first thing that has to be corrected, is that we are so far from the truth in so many ways that we wouldn't even recognize the truth if we saw it. And that has caused a downward spiral of humanity, a general decline of humanity. And in order to reset our path and get us moving into the direction of higher intellectual beings that we are going to become, they first have to reset to the truth. And so there are beings that are working in the background where we can't see, setting up events so that the truth comes out. So it's real important right now to be watching what's going on in our world, to watch the events that are unfolding, because they are releasing the truth. And whether we like that truth or not, we have to move to the center and try to lose our biases and come to an acceptance of the truth.
And I just wonder the truth could slip out like a Freudian slip.
Maybe.
Maybe,
That might be one way.
Events hold the truth about the leaders, our leaders of mankind. Yeah. A regression will take place in the absence of truth.
Yeah, so again, humanity will regress in the absence of truth. So it's really important that the truth come out, but we have to insist on the truth. We have to be the warriors of truth. We have to be the researchers, and we have to put forward effort to find the truth. This is going to be pivotal in our own development.
When you research and you find the truth, then stand firm on that truth. But you got to do your research to find the truth.
Right.
When the value has been lost by humanity, a coincidence of human behavior. The dark side approaches. The light grows dim for humanity now at this point.
And so the dark side, they take advantage of this, and they're about keeping us in the dark. So the light is the intellectual energy that that brings the knowledge and the understanding. And this is what our books in antiquity talk about. It's not just this flowery word, love and light, but that the light is an intellectual energy. It is not a visible light, though. And the dark is just the opposite of that. So everything in our world has to have opposites to create balance. So the dark creates the balance to the light, but it serves a purpose in that when we discover we've been deceived, what do? We search for the truth. And so that's the purpose. And we don't want the balance to weigh heavy on the dark side. So, and that's what's happening. The dark side approaches, they're taking advantage so that they can maintain power and control over humanity. And we cannot let that continue to happen, because we'll be lost if we do.
So why are the beings here? The beings are here for an eruption of truth. That's an eruption of truth. A belligerence of truth is netting a reality.
And these are Candace saying the actual quotes that came through in the meditation. So they're here to get the truth out in our face, a belligerence of truth. it's undeniable. It's so in our face that we cannot deny it. Although there will be,
They keep trying to deny it.
they keep trying to deny the truth, but there will still be some in our society, even though the truth is right there in front of us and is so obvious, they will deny it because of the biases. So the more polarized you are, the more left or right or whatever it is in your biases, the least likely you are able to see the truth because you're so focused on that polarity that you're ignoring the rest of the scale of what exists in the energy world, right? So it takes a real conscious effort to lose those biases and start moving to the center and opening our eyes. It's very hard. The more polarized one is, the more it's going to be very difficult to find that neutral ground where you can open up to see the full scale of creation and all of the energy that exists regarding anything.
Basically what you said, when truth is found, the knowledge will begin. Your knowledge,
Right.
each one's knowledge will begin when the truth, when their truth is found, when they do the research and find what the real truth is, their knowledge will begin.
Yes.
So we have a message to humanity. So search for the truth, be open to the truth, no matter how much you like or dislike it.
Because the truth is
The truth is the truth. To love one another, and we've said this so many times, before it's too late. Love one another before it's too late.
Because there's so many changes coming and there is going to be great forfeiture of life. And so it's important that we love and respect each other, no matter what our differences are philosophically. And when those events happen, you've lost the opportunity to reconcile with each other. So it's important to love one another in spite of our differences.
A compassionate rebound.
Yes. So the rebound is to bounce back after a previous decline.
And we are in decline right now.
Right. So basically, it's a nice way, the guides are saying in a nice way, that we've lost our compassion.
Not only to love one another, but to help one another. Those that absolutely need help. And you can use determination by ones that truly need help.
That they didn't create their situation, and
It's beyond their own creation.
Yeah, it's beyond their own creation, because sometimes people need to learn a lesson because they created the lesson themselves. And other times it's beyond what one has created. It's outside their own influence or their sphere of influence. And so we need to have compassion for those people and be able to help when we are able to help.
Accept and move with the coming changes. We're going to have to accept what's coming and move with the changes in order to survive these changes.
And also, our society is going to change radically. So we have to be able to realize that everything is going to change. And the more we resist and hold on to the old ways, the more we are going to suffer, because we cannot keep it the same. That is a part of antiquity. The old ways have expired, and a whole new cycle is opening up in which we're going to be doing things in a whole new way. And so as things start to collapse, societal systems collapse, then we need to think more proactively about how can we create this and make it better? Or is this something we
Well-
just need to abandon and do something else?
Or remove with it when it comes created naturally. We can't really create the new issues the new way, but
I'm talking about societal systems.
well, nature kind of helps create that. It really does, because of the nature of the people that develop it.
I see what you mean. So, but also we're going to be having help from outside. So these other entities are going to be communicating with us how we might be able to create something
Yeah, so
different.
you have to learn to flow with that.
Right.
So go within. Many times we've said this over and over. Go within to find your higher self. And you'll know when you find your higher self, because you'll come to more understanding of who you are and why you're here.
And you'll begin to hear that little voice inside that clearly was not your thought. And so you need to pay attention to that, because it starts out the higher self communicating and understanding to you, or helping you to make choices. And then from there, you will start to be able to hear telepathic communication from others outside of our earth realm.
Yeah. Turn back to the Creator, which is all that is, all that was, and all that will be. And many call that Creator God. Turn back to God, the Creator.
Yes, that's a big part of what we need to do as a society. We've become too secular, too worldly, too focused on the material world, and all of that is going to start evaporating. And so it carries no weight, and it weighs heavy on our soul. So when we turn back to the Creator, we start to realize that our real purpose here is our expanding consciousness, how we begin to see things in a whole new way, how we can learn new technology and new ways of looking at things. And we are on this cusp of this brand new era where we are going to be so astounded by the awesome information coming through. And this will become the narcotic, so to speak, that drives us in the future. It's not how much we can accumulate. It will be how much we can accumulate up here.
How much we, and when we're here, how much we can accumulate for the betterment of mankind.
Right. And so are you talking about?
Well, these corporate entities, like could be Elon Musk or whatever, developing new technologies for the betterment of mankind.
Right.
And when they say he's worth so many billions, they're taking the asset value of each company that he has. But talking about the difference between one person owns one company and derives all the assets for themselves, that's totally different. That's materialism.
Right. Yeah. So anyway, we have a bright future. We have help. They are here. And we need to keep that in mind as we move through these changes and these processes there's going to be a lot of cataclysms as Earth begins to rebalance herself. So there's going to be a need for us to unify and come together. And it all starts with recognizing the truth and coming back to the Creator, which is all energy, all intelligence, all understanding, love. It's hard to wrap your mind around because we've been fed this image of a man up in the clouds. And it's not that way.
Yeah, that's a representative of the Creator.
So,
So with that, thank you for joining us.
yes. And peace be with you on your journey to enlightenment. Have a good week.